All right, says we're live. Listen, I'm a little discombobulated coming in at the last second that I got here, and I was like, oh no, my mic's out in the camper. So it's just me today, too. Usually we get Logan or Mindy or a combination of the three of us. Today it's just me, but that's okay. We're going to talk about a subject I know a couple things about. So, and also, who the heck schedules a World Cup soccer game during a Social Advisors Charlie Van Derven live stream Tuesday at 2? We do it every Tuesday. I got to talk to, maybe FIFA, maybe I can pay them a buttload of money and get them to do what I need them to do. Anyway, so that's probably not something I want to bring up here. You guys, today we are talking about, now, first off, let me say, before we dive in, I am streaming right now through StreamYard. Now, here's what that means. It's a good service because what it does is allows us to stream to one LinkedIn profile, a few different Facebook profiles, our YouTube channel, all at the same time. So it's cool that way. Here's what's not cool. And I don't know if StreamYard monitors these things, but they're going to find out too. I can't see a lot of your comments. So often I think we just draw comments maybe from LinkedIn. So any comments that come through on Facebook, I'm not even seeing them. So in that case, if I don't answer a question, if you ask a question and I don't answer it, awesome boards in the background. Tim, I love when people comment on these boards. I'll get in a second. So I am seeing LinkedIn comments. I'll talk to you a little bit about these boards in a second because I love them. But StreamYard, I can't see all the comments. So LinkedIn comments are obviously coming through. Tim, thanks for yours. In a moment here, we're going to jump into 6 tips for goal setting for financial advisors. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to set your goal. I'm just going to tell you how to make sure that you get to that goal. And I've got a great tracking sheet that if you're interested after the live stream, all you got to do is email me or send me a direct message on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I'll send that over to you, but I'll show that to you while we're doing this too. So, Tim, the boards. This is my first snowboard. I am 50 years old this year. That dates me a little bit, but when I was 14, I got this Burton Cruiser at the local skate shop. And, probably the year prior, they showed up in Thrasher magazine. And so me and my little skate buddies in Green Bay, Wisconsin, would take the trucks off the bottom of our skateboards and we would ride down little plow hills on our skateboards, and lots of kids got hurt. So anyway, snowboards came out when I was just the right age, right? Little skate punk, 14 years old. And I grew up a ski racer from the time I was 3. So snowboards came out. This is actually a greater prized possession. This belonged to a good buddy of mine who passed away some years ago. Oops. So we'll pick that one up in a little bit. Good thing they're durable. But that you just saw fall was a 1984 Burton Performer. And I won't mess with it, but it doesn't even have metal edges, right? So the technology was so new back at that time. You had a Woody. My brother had a Woody, Tim, a 145 Woody. I know exactly the board you're talking about. No metal edges on that sucker either, given the name. So we could talk snowboarding all day long, Tim, and I put those up there because I know that when someone recognizes what the heck they are, we've got some commonality. So that's fun. March is here. March, good to see you, buddy. So LinkedIn comments are coming through. That's awesome. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to talk about, and let me find where I just landed here, but we're going to talk about, where is the share screen on this sucker? There we go. Too many platforms. All right. So we're going to talk about 6 goal-setting tips for financial professionals. At the moment, I'm not looking at the camera, right? So if you're making comments, I'm not seeing that stuff. We're going to jump through, and this is just going to take a few minutes, right? There's an interesting soccer game on that a lot of people want to watch. So we'll get through this in a hurry. Again, I'm not here to tell you what your goal should be. Obviously, that's up to you. That's up to what you put in this year. Market has affected a lot of what we've done as far as revenue is concerned. So revenue is a tough one, right? Revenue is a tough one, though it is probably the most important one. Revenue is a tough one because we've got circumstances like the market that are outside of our control, right? So you set your goal. If that's 8% or 10%, or you do that by households, or you do that by millions of dollars in assets under management, you set your goal, right? But we're going to talk about 6 tips for making sure that you're accomplishing your goals, or things you should be thinking about when you set that goal. Here's number 1. I coach a lot of advisors, have for many years. And I will tell you that I've had advisors that I coach that say, Charlie, next year, I'm going to do whatever percentage, or I'm going to do $15 million in new asset under management, or this X number of households. But I know when they say that they are tapped. Like, they do not have hardly the resources to service their current clients. And now they want to add more for the sake of adding more. So the first question you need to ask yourself, right, is do you have, let's talk about the team first, the team and technology to support the additional assets under management, right? Or the additional households, or whatever that looks like for you. Now, one of the things that every advisor I work with has gone through at some point is right sizing. So it may be time for you to right size, right? That 80-20 rule, or whatever it is, 80% of your assets are probably in the top half of your book. Well, are you holding on to clients at the bottom portion of your book that you don't need to hold on to any longer? So if you're going to move on from those clients, like if you are at a firm like Edward Jones, for example, you can do a good night, right? You can support a new advisor coming into your territory, and you can cut a little piece of that business out of your book, right? If you are an independent advisor and you don't have a junior advisor on your team, or an associate advisor, you probably need somewhere to pass referrals to. So go make a relationship with the young advisor in your area that, if you're going to move on from your book, you can't just cut them, right? You've got to make an introduction. You've got to make a good landing spot for them. And of course, it's easy to explain to someone who's only got $50,000 with you, or $150,000, depending on the size of your practice. It's easy to explain that you're not the best person for them, because you simply can't support an account of their size. Right? You have advanced to the point where you can't provide them the support that they deserve. So making a referral or an introduction is a natural thing. It's still you fulfilling fiduciary responsibility, right? It's still you providing the best service for that client, because you can't provide that best service. Now, here's the other thing. I had a coaching call with a client who's been in the business probably about 15, 18 years, whatever it is. His revenue is about $500,000, right? In the next 5 years, he'd like to be $1 million producer. That is an awesome goal, right? And from a sales perspective, no doubt that person has the skills, right? But if he's going to, and solopreneur, right? Solopreneur. So he's got to be serving larger clients that have more sophisticated needs. So I always look at that and I say, great to put that carrot out there, but what skills do you need to accomplish? Again, not the sales skills necessarily, but what skills do you need to accomplish for you to be ready to accomplish, those goals, right? So that's the number one tip, is take a look at your team, your infrastructure, your personal abilities. Are you ready to accomplish the goals that you set out in front of yourself? And if the answer to that is yes, awesome. We'll move on to tip 2. If the answer to that is no, that's your first goal, right? You got to achieve those skills. You got to build the right team so that you can support the new assets. All right. Second tip, you've got to know what activity is required to meet your goal. Now, we're going to talk on the third tip, is your goal is a result, right? I don't want to get too deep into this yet on the second tip. Your goal becomes a result, right? You have to understand what is the activity that's required to get to that goal. And now let's see here. Here's a sample tracking sheet that we use with a number of our clients. And this is just something I roll over from year to year. So you can see that this one still says 2021 on the tab down here, 2023 vision board, right? So this is set up 0 to 12 million. Of course, these numbers are variables that can be changed for you. Our client referrals and introductions, new clients under 250, clients over 250, client tracking, number of relationships, number of clients under 100,000. Anyway, all of these variables can be manipulated to fit your particular practice, right? So this is just a sample. Now, if you want this in the comments, or again, in a world where I can't see all the comments maybe coming from Facebook, send me a direct message, or those of you who have my email address, cvanderven@social-advisors.com. Send me an email or send me a text, 386-846-5291, 386-846-5291. Send me a text. Let me know that you want this sample tracking sheet. It's awesome. It's thorough. And obviously it's just an Excel sheet. You can manipulate it for you. But the second tip is understand what activities you need to do to reach that goal, right? It's just working backwards. How many people do I need to talk to get a meeting, right? To get an initial meeting. How many introductions do I need? How many referrals do I need, right? How many events do I need to do? How many, again, introductions, networking events. Anyway, so this is a long list of activities that lead to business development, that lead to growth, right? Right down to LinkedIn, right? Content marketing, morning meeting. If you've got anybody else that's working on the sales side of things, on the business development side. So I've taken and assigned a point total for each of these activities. And then when I'm coaching with somebody, oftentimes what we'll do is we'll say, all right, every week we want you to hit 35 points or 50 points or 80 points, depending on who they are. Here's tracking outside client assets. Here's a list of prospects so we can stay on top of that. 3s, 2s, 1s, and ask to talk business, right? These are, let's say, cold, warming, and then, pretty hot, right? So this is, again, tracking weekly activity. We love surprise and delight gifts, right? Surprise and delight gifts. There's this feeling of reciprocity, right? If you give something to somebody, they want to return that favor. So we love gifting to our right clients that in the future, we're going to ask for introductions, not ask for referrals, but ask for introductions. If you put a gift out there, a month or two ahead of when you're going to ask for that introduction, or invite them and a friend to an event, whatever that is, that helps to pave the path for getting the right attendees to your events, right? And then what events are they interested in? Who have I got introduced to? Who made that introduction? So anyway, a very thorough tracking sheet here. So again, if you have interest in this tracking sheet, just send me a direct message or a text. Again, the phone number 386-846-5291. You have to understand, if you're looking at households, if you're looking at households or assets under management or whatever that is, it is the activity that leads to that goal, right? The goal is a result. The goal is not an activity. So tip number 3, if you don't love the process, you're probably not going to achieve your goal. If you don't enjoy, let's call it the hunt, though maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's a little harsh. But if you don't enjoy the outreach, the interaction, the asking for introductions, the hosting of events, right, the posting of social content, the 15 or 20 minute daily activity on LinkedIn, if you don't enjoy that stuff, first find somebody on your team that can do it for you. A lot of the marketing pieces you can outsource. Of course, social advisors can take care of a lot of your CRM, email content, LinkedIn needs, webinar needs, but you have to fall in love with the process, because you only reach the goal if you fulfill on that process every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, right? So that's tip number 3, is fall in love with the process, not the goal. If you're focused on that goal, but not focused on the activity you need to get there, you're not going to get there, right? So in no particular order, because now that I'm looking at these, I'm like, these could be in different orders. So tracking is essential to your success. Going back again to that tracking sheet. If you need a tracking sheet, that's a good one. Again, we can manipulate that to fit fit your needs. So tracking is essential to your success. Again, let me know if you'd like a copy of that sample tracking sheet. But if you are not tracking every single day, how many people did I reach out to on LinkedIn? Did I post? Did I interact with people that are either centers of influence for me or advocates for me? How am I using social for selling, right? When am I hosting an event, right? Anyway, so anything that's on that sheet, tracking is going to be essential to your success. If you are not tracking, you don't know where you've come from, you don't know what you need to do to accomplish that goal at the end of the day. Now, here's one that I love that a lot of people miss. Reward yourself for small wins. I'm not talking about a new client, right? A lot of you, your $15 million goal next year, that might be 10 clients. Right? Or wallet share from existing clients. If you're waiting for those like monumental events, the closing of a new client, large piece of wallet share, if you're waiting for those to celebrate and reward yourself, they're going to be few and far between. Now, I want you to reward yourself weekly, right? If you get to the end of a Friday and you've had a successful week and your tracking hits the metrics that you need to do to get to that goal, do something nice for yourself, right? Take your spouse out or a friend out, go to that restaurant, that you've been thinking about trying. I rewarded myself yesterday, right? I got this little camper for my truck. I've needed the airbags for suspension on the back of my truck so I can put a little more weight in the camper, right? Well, I rewarded myself. We had a significant thing happen yesterday. I rewarded myself with those airbags. It was good that it was Cyber Monday too, because I saved a couple bucks. But reward yourself. If there's that small purchase you want to, you've been waiting to make, again, the restaurant, you want to see a movie, you want to, travel to a nearby town for a weekend away, reward yourself. It's important that you celebrate the wins, right? Even small wins. Small wins are incremental steps in the right direction. So celebrate the small wins. And then here's a really, really important one. Left to our own devices, you guys, it's I don't know if it's human nature. I'll call it human nature, but I can't be scientific about that, right? Most people gravitate towards doing the minimum they have to do to maintain their status quo. Most people are not out there getting it. Most people are not putting in, concentrated work or longer hours to accomplish what they're looking to do. And unfortunately, most of you listening to me right now, most people I'm connected to on LinkedIn, most people I know and myself often, I'm the same way, right? Smooth sailing, things are going good. I'm not working all that hard if I don't have to work all that hard, right? Well, that's not a way to accomplish a goal. And left to your own devices, you're probably going to gravitate towards doing less. So here's where an accountability partner is really important, right? You need someone you can trust. A lot of you already have coaches. If any of my coaching clients are on right now, I will tell you the one thing that every coaching client that I've ever worked with, when we were going through the interview process, they came to me and they said, I'm looking for someone to hold me accountable. And my response is typically this: well, if you need somebody to browbeat you, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'm that guy, right? I'm happy to do that. But in reality, you're only accountable to yourself, right? But you need people around you to continue to push you in the right direction. When we do coaching, it's typically twice a month, right? So we'll meet every 2 weeks. I know for a fact that a lot of coaching clients, they go through the first 3 or 4 days after a coaching event with me, and they probably haven't done a whole lot. But when they know that they've got another meeting with me 7 business days from now, they bust their asses to get done what they told me they would get done. Not necessarily what I'm telling them, but what they committed themselves to. So if you don't have a coach, coaches, they can certainly give you some methodology. A lot of coaches have worked with, many professionals like you, so they draw from that experience. But even absent of a coach, your spouse, your friend, your partner, right? Grab an accountability partner. So again, we're going to rip through them quickly. Your 6 tips. Do you have the skills and team to support your goal? Take a look at yourself internally first. Setting a goal without having the skills and the infrastructure to support that is not a good thing. You need to build those skills and build that team first. Number 2, what activity is required to meet your goal, right? That goes back to our activity tracking sheet, right? Understand what it's going to require from you daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly to hit that goal. Number 3, your goal is not the process, right? The goal is the result. So fall in love with the process of reaching that goal. Again, let me know if you need that tracking sheet. Tracking is essential to your success. Reward yourself for the small wins. This is important, you guys. Don't forget this, right? If you have a successful week and you've hit your activity benchmarks for the week, reward yourself. And then finally, make sure that you have an accountability coach. Now, how the heck do I get back to where I was? Stop screen share. That's it. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Maura's here. Now I can start to see now I can start to see some of the comments coming through. All LinkedIn comments. If you made comments on Facebook, I don't think I'm seeing them. Nora, good to see you. Maura's here. Tim, March, awesome. We got some good exposure for the live feed. So if you guys need to reach me again, phone number is 386-846-5291. I would love to send you that tracking sheet if that's something that's going to be good for you as you're setting your goals going into 2023. And really, there's no reason 2023 can't be your best year, right? We had down market in 2022, so hopefully we've got some rebound there. What the down market creates actually is a lot of movement of clients within the industry, right? So no one wants to lose money, but certainly if you're picking up some kind of market share, down market helps you do that, right? People start questioning their current relationships. So just want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day. I know there's a big soccer game going on. I can't believe again that they'd schedule that during my Tuesday at 2. My gosh, got to talk to FIFA or the U.S. men's national team or something like that. So go enjoy the rest of the soccer game. And reach out to me if you need anything. And Tim, thanks for recognizing what the heck was going on behind me. But yeah, I'll pick this up off the ground because I dropped it. Check that out, man. I would love to see your Bert and Woody. Keep people accountable. Maura, you've never been a coaching client of mine. So Maura says, if you can't see it, if you're on Facebook, she's commenting on LinkedIn that she's never, ever known me to browbeat anybody. Maura, you're not a coaching client. If you were a coaching client paying for me to browbeat you, I would browbeat you. I'm pretty good at it, right? I could, yeah. March. So March, for those of you who are watching this, Echo, I'll get you the tracking sheet for sure. March is an old friend of mine. We used to work together years and years ago at 50 Below, now a Broadridge company. He gave me the nickname S-. And it plays well with others. So yes, March knows I can browbeat somebody if I need to. So again, thank you guys all for being here. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking, in a hallway. That's why I like to have Logan or Mindy here so we banter off each other. But your comments help me kind of keep it entertaining. So thank you guys for being here. Your time is valuable. It's the one thing you're not making more of, right? So spending it with me, I appreciate that like crazy. Talk to you sometime soon.